So the book that I read was The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. So this book is about a young boy named Khalid who gets pulled over for a traffic stop, and he is shot and killed by the end of the stop. So the book starts off with the main character, Star, at a party with her friend Kenya, and they get separated, and somehow Star and Khalid find each other, and Khalid's Star's childhood best friend. During the party, there's a fight that breaks loose between two different gangs. So something to know about this neighborhood is that there are two different gangs. There's GD and the King Lords. I believe it's that. And so there's always fights breaking out between the two of them, and there's a lot of drugs going on, a lot of drug sales going on, and so cops are always around. So a fight breaks out and shots happen, and everybody scatters the party, and Klee says, "I'll take you home" to Star. And on the way home, they get pulled over because his taillight is out, and the cop is like, "License and registration." He's asking the basic questions like license and registration. And Kalee's like, "Well, why was I pulled over?" And the cop won't tell him. And eventually, Kalee gets kind of an attitude with him, and the cop tells him. And then something happens. Nothing for Kalee to have to get out of the car, but the cop wants Kalee out of the car. So he grabs him and yanks him out of the car and pats him down 3 different times to try to find something on him. And he didn't find anything, so he goes back to his squad car to run license and registration. But while he does that, Klee is bending down to ask Star if she's okay, because she's still in the car with her hands up on the dashboard. And so while he was doing that, the cop thought he was reaching for something and shot him 3 different times. And the rest of the book talks about how Star is trying to grieve with this, trying to figure out what happened and how she feels, and then also how she wants justice for her friend. And they take it to court and everything, but the cop ends up not getting charged. Something that stuck with me during the book while I was reading was in the beginning of chapter 2, where her dad had to teach her what to do if she ever got pulled over by a cop. So I will read this little passage. The other talk was about what to do if a cop stopped me. Mama fussed and told Daddy I was too young for that. He argued that I wasn't too young to get arrested or shot. Star, you do whatever they tell you to do, he said. Keep your hands visible. Don't make any sudden moves. Only speak when they speak to you. I knew it must have been serious. Daddy has the biggest mouth of anybody I know, and if he said to be quiet, I needed to be quiet. I hope somebody had the talk with Khalid. So basically in that little passage, her dad is teaching her and her older brother, 7, how to react if they ever get pulled over by the cops. And this is not the first thing that I've seen kind of like this. I've seen many incidents or many situations where an African American parent has to talk to their son or their daughter about what to do if a cop pulls you over. And the sad thing is that is going on in the real world right now. Real world right now. We are having protests for a reason, and things do need to change. And I think that this book is a really good book to bring into the classroom to talk about the situation going on right now in the world and why it is important that things need to change. And I just really think that this book would be very beneficial to students. But yeah, so I think that you guys really should read this book. I remember, like, so when I've been reading it over a course of several days, and in the very, very beginning, I was like crying already because it's very emotional, and more than just Khalid getting shot happens. There's like big, like, gang violence and fires and like the protests, and there's just so much going on in this book. But it is such a good book. I honestly think that this is my favorite book that I have read this summer so far, and I really, really want to watch the movie. So I do recommend this book to anybody who has time to read it, and then I do recommend the movie because I hear that it's really, really good, and that's what I'm about to watch right when I'm done with this. But thank you for listening to my book talk.